Yes guys, welcome back to another video, and in today's video I'm going to talk to you all about the relationship between hydration and fluid intake and why they are not mutually exclusive, and how you might be missing a trick if you're just focusing on fluid intake but not considering hydration. So let's dive straight into it. So one of the issues is that most of the conversation that gets had around hydration is actually not about hydration at all, it's about fluid intake. So if you ask most professionals, okay, how do I stay hydrated? They're going to give you the same general line of drink loads of water, 6 to 8 glasses, 1.5 plus litres a day, and that's going to be the end of the conversation. But what they've answered there is, what is fluid intake, or what are the recommendations for fluid intake? They haven't actually addressed hydration, and these two are not mutually exclusive. As I said, the common belief is that as long as you are having enough water, as long as you're drinking loads of water, your 6 to 8 glasses, and whatever else the other recommendations are, that you'll be hydrated. Unfortunately, that's not really the case. Now, whilst of course dehydration is a thing, actually in the modern day world, I find when I speak to clients that actually overhydration can be just as common, and if not more common, than dehydration. Because a lot of people don't know that actually if you have too much water, you'll flush out the electrolytes that are in your body that are trying to balance the water within your cells and that help your blood pressure, your nerve function, your muscle function, contraction and circulation, and many other things that we'll kind of get into. So actually drinking too much water can be negative, right? And when people are just being told, right, you just need to drink loads of water, 6 to 8 glasses a day, it has them feeling like, well, that's all that I need to do. Whereas really, you could be missing a trick. So first and foremost, what are some signs that you might be overhydrating? Well, if you find that you are urinating very frequently during the day. Now, what does that actually mean? That means that what's going in is going straight out very frequently. Hydration happens inside the body, right? So fluid intake is a very simple equation. How much fluid do I intake? X amount of liters. Done. Hydration is, what does my body actually do with that fluid? How does it balance that fluid within my body, and how long does that last for? Because when we're talking about hydration, we're talking about hopefully over a several hour period of time. It's not just like, right, I'm drinking it and it goes straight back out as urine very quickly. So hydration happens within the body, and it's about how long does it last in the body and does it do its job. So if you find yourself frequently urinating, this is not a good thing. Alongside that, if your urine is completely clear, again, this is a big myth that's out there. A lot of people tend to think that, right, if my urine is completely clear, that is a sign that I have reached superhuman levels of hydration. Wrong, right? Now, whilst we don't want our urine to be completely dark, because that is a sign of dehydration, you don't want it to be completely clear either. That is, again, like I said, a sign of overhydration. That's basically water that's just going straight back out from when you put it in. Not a good sign. Urine should be kind of a pale yellow, straw, champagne-y colour. So hydration is a little bit more complex than we actually might have first thought. So this is particularly important if you are someone who engages in any kind of physical activity or exercise. Now, it could be specific exercise itself where you're going to be sweating, or it could just be general kind of day-to-day activity that also makes you break a little bit of a sweat. So it could be gardening, for example. It could be if you have a very physically demanding manual labor job, or something of that nature, right? Maybe you have a very high body temperature, a very fast metabolism, and you're a very hot person and you sweat quite a lot. Well, when you're sweating, you are sweating out electrolytes, right? So drinking loads and loads of water is not really going to make up for those electrolytes having gone out. And the other thing is, when you drink too much water in one go, that is a big signal to your kidneys that too much water is coming in at one time, and that they need to flush that fluid out via the way of urine, right? Which is why you'll find yourself frequently urinating throughout the day, and maybe even in the night, right? Which disrupts your sleep. Not a good thing, right? So just focusing on the fluid intake is probably missing a trick. You also need to consider your hydration. And for hydration, this is where electrolytes come in: sodium, potassium, magnesium, calcium, and several others that help to balance the electrolytes that are within your body, that help to hydrate the muscle. Just use sodium as an example. Salt, right? Often salt is demonized, and of course, understandably, too much salt is of course bad for you. But what a lot of people don't also know is not enough salt can be just as bad for you, and in some cases worse for you, than too much salt. Sodium is a mineral, and what does it do? Sodium essentially acts like a sponge, and it absorbs fluid onto your muscles to help them to stay hydrated, to prevent cramps and sore muscles and tight lower limbs, for example, particularly if you've been exercising and contracting the muscles and depleting the glycogen and the fluid from your body. You need to replenish those. So what are some of the main takeaways and things to consider, right? Fluid intake is completely to do with the quantity of fluid that someone might take in. Fairly straightforward. However, hydration has to do with the quality, right? And you want to obviously find a balance between both of these, not just one or the other, right? It's not just about, right, quantity is everything, as long as you've got to the end of the day and you've had your 1.5 litres, job done. No, you want to balance that with the quality. Well, how have I had those 1.5 litres? What kind of effect have they had? Have they hydrated me over a longer period of time? This is the key thing. When drinking water, it's important to sip throughout the day. Don't just down it at 1 or 2 points of the day, because the quicker you drink it, the quicker it passes through your system and out as urine, right? So sip throughout the day. The other thing to take note of is if you are doing some kind of exercise, if you feel like, you know, your energy is dipping a little bit, maybe you're getting some headaches, right? Your urine's completely clear. Well, you want to consider electrolytes, right? Electrolytes are absolutely crucial to prevent dehydration or overhydration as well, but to help you with your circulation, with your brain function, cognitively, keeping your energy levels nice and stable, trying to beat that mid-afternoon slump that tends to happen to a lot of people for a number of reasons, but one of the reasons can be because of an unbalancing of the fluid intake and the hydration. As I've mentioned in previous videos, I use electrolytes on a daily basis. You can see I've got my ORS hydration tablets right there on the whiteboard. These are the ones that I have found to be the best in terms of, you know, I suppose 4 or 5 main points. So we're talking about price, we're talking about taste, talking about mixability, and of course the most important part, the precise balance of the electrolytes. And with the ORS Sport, the inclusion of vitamin D and magnesium, which help your immune system, but also are very important for the contraction of muscles and also to help with tired and sore muscles and fatigue. So definitely, if you haven't already got electrolytes in your daily kind of routine, as I've mentioned in several videos before, they are absolutely a game changer. You will not regret it and you will notice the difference from one day to the next. So hopefully you found today's video useful. If you have any further questions, please don't hesitate to reach out and I will see you in the next video. So see you later.